how do you compare the education system prevalent in West Bengal that time with contemporary education system in Oxford or Cambridge? And what's your opinion about the present scenario about the education system in UK and West Bengal?
Well, the education system in West Bengal, particularly in India in general, hasn't changed much. I think the main difference is an Indian policy that was taken after independence, where in the 50s the government decided to separate research and undergraduate education, which I think was a big mistake. I think at that point, I think the government decided the number of scientific researchers is very small. They needed to be protected in research institutes, and so that they didn't get too much teaching. They were taken out of the universities, and that is not, I mean, I think the government thought that they would change it in a few years. That never happened. And as a result, Indian universities in general were landed with teachers who did not do research. Yes. And research institutes did not get students. And as a result, research institutes slowly started losing the best Indian students because the students went through the colleges. They didn't see any inspired research going on. They didn't witness anything. They just went abroad. And, yes. And the people who taught the undergraduates, and still don't do research, so they don't keep up with the cutting edge of science and other subjects. And then what happens is that they just teach what they were taught themselves. And so that perpetuates. And as a result, things don't get updated. I think the crucial thing that you can see in universities in the West, in Europe, and in America, is that people who are teaching at universities predominantly do research. Not all of them do, but mostly they do. And as a result, they are aware of what's going on in the subject. They update their teaching. Mm-hmm. They know whether things have moved on, whether things have become irrelevant, and stuff like that. And that never happens. I think the quality of undergraduate teaching in India and in West Bengal has always been very good. And you can see that everywhere, in physics research in particular, you see people from West Bengal everywhere in the world. Go elsewhere in India, the research students in physics are all from West Bengal. People know that. Yes. I mean, once the Tata Institute, my colleagues in Tata Institute tell me that over the last 10, 15 years, 75% of all physics research students have been from West Bengal. And that's not a surprise to me because the undergraduate education is very good. I mean, I can tell you that I went from Presidency to Oxford to do a second undergraduate degree. I found that the undergraduate teaching at Presidency was far better than in Oxford. Far, far better. And when I went to Oxford, I was surrounded by very, very eminent scientists, and I learned a lot from them. But the basic undergraduate teaching that I received at Presidency College is absolutely unparalleled. And I think I can't say that quality of teaching exists now. Yeah. Because the people who taught us of the caliber of Amol Chaudhary, Shamal Sengupta, Hemen Babu, etc. I mean, people like that were dedicated teachers, but they were also researchers. They were doing research on their own time. They were teaching 20 hours a week, but also doing their research. I mean, Amol Babu was one of the best relativists ever. Yeah. And now what has happened in most Indian universities, particularly in West Bengal, is that research is completely discouraged. And those people who were the famous researchers who also taught have really gone out of the system. And one of the problems we have at Presidency University now, where I am trying to set up this department, is that the people who used to teach were very good, but they were forced to teach 20, 25 hours a week. They could not do any research. Yeah. And as a result, compared to places like ICERs or IITs, they're updating their own education. Their space to think about how to teach in a new way was just not there. And I think that is one big incentive to bring in a new way of dealing with education, not just research, but also giving teachers a chance to update their reading, their studies, because these subjects move very fast. Physics moves very fast.
Yes, yes,
So if you force a teacher to teach what they learned when they were students,
yes,
is not going to work, because things have moved on. So, for example, if you see in universities in the West, um, university teachers get sabbatical leave.
yes,
They get a chance to do research and also to update their teaching. And the kind of opportunities given to Indian and particularly West Bengal college teachers, where they go through various orientation courses once in a while, is not just enough. It might be enough in certain subjects. In science subjects, is not enough.